Hi, this is Barry Wilbur, GRN, the data analytics recruiter. Today I want to talk about part two of leading through crisis, leading through significant change. Again, your ability to lead in this time of uncertainty and to build confidence, to build trust, to build empowerment with your team will help your company to change its trajectory, to be able to move forward. It can help change the trajectory of your career. Leaders elevate in times of crisis. And I want to be able to provide you a little bit more on that framework, on those tools that you can use today in helping you to lead and lead well. Let's dive in. Now, if you remember from last session, we talked just very briefly. During uncertain times, people can very naturally have feelings that tend to be fairly negative: fear, uncertainty, doubt, confusion. What do I do? When do I do? Where are we going? And they can feel overwhelmed and not move forward. Your ability to lead through that change and some of those feelings, as we talked about, again, fear, uncertainty, doubt, resentment, etc. Your ability to lead through and lead effectively can really help your team in coming together and in moving forward. We talked about a COVID-19 example where different customer groups, frontline managers, hiring managers, customers, etc. There could be fear and anxiety. Am I going to catch the disease? How do I protect my employees? How do I protect my customers? Does our company survive? We talked a little bit about hiring managers. Companies are hiring right now. How do I interview in this new world? Maybe I don't know how as I go through. Candidates that are a little reticent to shift jobs right now because they maybe lose their health care as they go. So, and we talked about those are the natural feelings that they would have, and that's why. And then we specifically talked about there are 7 mechanisms that will help move them from inaction, from the fear, from the negative feelings into the confidence, the clarity, the acceptance, and that's the information instruction. Let's dive into those 7 elements a little bit more in detail. The 7 elements and 7 mechanisms for change are as follows. Information. Let me explain how it's happening, why it's happening, what's going on. Instruction. Here are the steps that you take. A, B, C, D, E. Involvement. Hey, let's get you involved. Let's get your opinions. Let me get your thoughts and let's make you a doer rather than somebody that's sitting on the outside. Immediacy. It's the empathy. It's the understanding. It's saying, I understand. This is hard. Talk to me more. We've got to do this. It's the incentives. It's here's the bonus we can get at the end. Here's the market share that we can capture. Here's the goals. Here's what we're going after. It's the inspiration. Come on, we're going to take that hill. This is what we're going after. It's the influence or intimidation. Your peers coming together and say, hey, we can do this. Or the intimidation that could come from the top that says, this is a part of the salary continuation program. You must do this. These are 7 key levers that can be used to help move the ball forward and instill confidence and trust with your team. Now, the interesting thing is that not all 7 of these mechanisms or levers are used equally by equal people. Well, let's talk about who are some of the different agents of change as you go through. There's leaders and executive management. There's frontline managers, and there's, of course, change agents that come from the outside. There could even be, as you look at it from a staff perspective. Oftentimes, people fall into the mode of saying, hey, this communication needs to come from senior management. That is not always true. There are times and there are parts of the communication that need to be carried throughout the organization. Let's pull this apart just a little bit in the 7 mechanisms so you can understand who has which responsibility. When you think of providing information and setting the direction, leadership clearly has a lead charge in moving that forward. Operating management, change agents, and reinforcing that as you go together. The involvement, let's do this together. That's going to be the folks that are close in the touch with the team and moving forward. That's those operating managers, line managers. When you think of incentives, hey, here's what we get when we accomplish this task. That really needs to be the leadership. They have the capability to be able to deliver that and to hold that promise true. It doesn't do any effective good to have a consultant on the outside coming in and saying, here's the incentive, because they have no power to deliver that. Inspiration, absolutely. You want your leaders to inspire. And by the way, the next session that we're going to talk to are the 5 key communication elements that you need if you're going to inspire your team in moving them forward, and then influence as you go in all the steps. So different levers, 7 different levers in moving from confusion or fear and confidence by providing information, involvement, incentives, etc., and different people that need to pull those levers. Now, you may need to coach up to your executives. You may need to coach across with your peers. You may need to share with your team as you go so that they are able to carry that right message as they go. Okay, so a lot of information very quickly, but in short, that was part 1, framework, and part 2 now on the 7 levers. Session 3 is the 5 critical elements in helping you to drive change. Again, if you have questions, if there's things that I can help you with, I'm here to help. You can reach out to me directly at my email or on my website, thedataanalyticsrecruiter.com, or book a meeting with me down below. I'm happy to help however I can to your success. This is Barry Wilbur, GRN, the Data Analytics Recruiter. Thanks for listening.